Hi, I'm Shannon from Big Freedom Tiny Homes, and I want to introduce you to my latest build. This tiny house is a 28-footer. I build my tiny homes on trailers that come from a company in Portland, Oregon called Iron Eagle Trailers. As you can see, this one's a 3-axle trailer. It's 3 7,000-pound axles, giving this trailer a 21,000-pound capacity, even though this tiny house actually only comes in at about 13,000 pounds, so a super heavy-duty trailer. The siding on this tiny house, like all my tiny houses, is Western red cedar with a combination of a 45-year pro panel roofing metal. I like to blend in the metal and the wood just to kind of break up the look of the tiny house. This cedar right here actually has just a natural acrylic finish on it, so it'll maintain the pretty color throughout the life of the cedar. All right, I want to show you on the back side of the tiny house where we have all the utility hookups. Here's where your 30 amp power comes into the tiny house. So typical RV hookups. All right, right here behind the back tires, we have the wastewater connection. And as you can see, it's a typical RV connection where your RV type hose would hook on and then go into either your septic or your sewer receptacle. The one cool thing that I do is right here at the termination, I've designed it to where you can separate the gray water and the black water. Okay, around to the front side of the tiny house, you'll see what I like to call the doghouse on the tongue of the trailer here. This is actually just housing for the propane tanks. Now it's time to take a look at the inside of the tiny house. First thing in this tiny house, you'll see on this end, we have the living area. We have this nice wraparound couch. This couch is great. I love this thing. It actually converts into a queen bed. As you can see, this will pull out and pop up. This also has storage, lots of great storage here that you could keep linens and things like that. It's also wired for internet or cable TV on the wall here. And then above the living room space, we have the smaller loft. And so the smaller loft has a ladder that goes up to it, which is kind of cool. And if it seems like it's in the way, I've also put this extra hook right here so you could hang in here and kind of open up the space. But let's move it back just so we can take a look up there. Put this back here. So you go up this ladder and you have, which is actually the smaller loft, and in this particular tiny house, the smaller loft is actually really big. It's 7 feet deep and just about 8 feet wide. So it can be used for either a second bedroom or for storage, for lots of storage and stuff. It actually has its own lighting zone right over here, and it does have a dimmer just like all the other zones in the house. So it can be dimmed or it can be turned up, which is kind of nice. And there's also an outlet up here. This particular model, I've left this second loft just plain so the customer can kind of dial it out however they want. It does have 2 windows, 2 really big 4-foot by 2-foot windows. And working through the tiny house this way, you'll see that it has a really large kitchen. And when I designed this tiny house, I wanted a large kitchen. I love to cook, and I know lots of people love to cook, and I really hate when you see tiny house designs that have a little tiny kitchen, because just because it's a tiny house, I don't think it has to have such a tiny kitchen. This particular tiny house has quartz countertops. I always either do quartz or granite. One thing I didn't talk about, if you see the floors, I love the floors in this tiny house. These are real hardwood, and it's a mixture of maple and oak. I just thought I'd kind of change it up. I think it looks really cool. You'll see that there's a spot here for 2 bar stools, which is a really cool place that 2 people can sit and have dinner. You can work on your laptop, and best of all, you're looking out this huge 5-foot by 3-foot window. Hopefully it's something really cool. All right, back to the kitchen. I guess you'll see I've got storage underneath the stairs. There's a pantry here. Has lots of storage and lots of shelves. And there's a big storage spot here. And then down below that, I won't open that up, but that's our propane tankless on-demand hot water heater. Into the kitchen, you'll see we have a 3-burner propane stove and oven. I put this in all my units and it works great. People love it. Really cool backsplash in this tiny house. This is Riverstone. We have a regular household vent, again with LED lighting and 3-speed exhaust fan, which is really nice to have in a tiny house. This particular tiny house has glazed maple cabinets. We've got 2 up top, lots of cabinet space down here. We've got a whole row of drawers, huge drawer here, lots of cabinet space down here. Another whole row of drawers, and then of course we have the whole under the sink area, which is a lot of storage down there. The refrigerator, which is a 10 cubic foot stainless steel refrigerator, which to me I think is the perfect size fridge for a tiny house. It's not too big, but it's totally big enough. This one I have elevated up a foot, which is one thing that's nice is it gives more storage down below. Lots of stuff that can go back there. And then behind the fridge, of course, I've got hooks for your broom and your dustpan. And then underneath the stairs, I've incorporated storage for, you know, your coffee mugs, glasses, bowls, and plates and stuff. Really natural place from, you know, when you wash your dishes to be able to put them away. And what we're about to see in this tiny house is the one new feature that is new to me that I haven't done before. Normally when you would come through this pocket door, you would go into the bathroom. Well, I had enough people tell me that they were interested in a downstairs closet, so I made this separate room that has a 30-inch wide, full-length downstairs closet for hanging clothes and putting shoes and stuff like that, so you don't have to have all of your clothes upstairs. Okay, and on the other side of this little pass-through room, we have the spot that's plumbed for a washer and dryer. As you can see, I do have a cabinet up here for storage. Right now it's kind of set up for an all-in-one combo unit, but you could remove this cabinet and put it in a stackable washer and dryer if that's something you wanted to do. All right, now we actually go through the pass-through room and go into the bathroom. This bathroom is actually 5 feet by close to 8 feet, so it's a pretty good sized bathroom. Pretty much all of my bathrooms I like to line with cedar, so the ceiling and all the walls are cedar. Tiled floor, 24-inch vanity here, again with glazed maple cabinets, and a dual flush regular household toilet, which is really nice. Storage above the toilet for towels and stuff like that. This is actually the first tiny house I've done that has a full-size bathtub. And one thing that I really like about it is a porcelain on steel tub, no fiberglass, not a plastic tub, and it's also the 15-inch deep tub. And then I did this beautiful subway tile work, which I'm very excited about, and has an exhaust fan in the shower, which again is very important if you have a tiny house to get that moisture out of your tiny house. I'm actually going to demonstrate it. I'm going to demonstrate how big this bathtub is. So I'm like 6 feet tall, and so I can take a bath in here. The stairs are a full 24 inches wide, so they don't feel narrow, they don't feel like you're gonna fall, they're super solid. One cool feature on the lower half here is they all have these cool little doors that have storage. So one thing in a tiny house, you always have to find storage wherever you can manage. So the upper stairs don't have that storage because they have the storage on the back side for the dishes in the kitchen. All right, now we'll go up the stairs and look at the main sleeping loft. I can pretty much stand most of the way up to the stairs, but when you get right toward the top is then when you'll have to be a little cognizant of the ceiling. But once you get up here, you can pretty much kind of roll right into your bed. The high end here, you have 4 feet and 3 feet on the low end. This loft has 2 windows. They're both 5 foot by 2 foot windows. So these windows are actually really, really huge. And so when you open up both of them, you get tons of cross breeze through here and stuff. At the end of the loft, you'll see that there's what would be a second closet. So plenty of room for hanging clothes and a chest of 6 drawers in the back. This bed that you see here is actually a queen size, so a king would fit up here with still plenty of room. And as you can see, looking back toward this way, this particular tiny house, I built a little storage, kind of like a little half wall here that gives a little bit of privacy, makes you feel like you're not going to fall out of the loft, and of course gives some really nice storage. One thing that I did do in this tiny house, which I guess is the first time I've done, I actually stained the ceiling as opposed to painting it the same color I paint the walls, which I think is a really cool contrast, and I definitely think I'm going to do it again on my next tiny house. I think it turned out really well. All right, that concludes the tour of my newest build with Big Freedom Tiny Homes. If you'd like more information on this tiny house or more, please go to my website, and that's bigfreedomtinyhomes.com. You can also follow me on Instagram, that's @BigFreedomTinyHomes, and I do constantly post build photos on my Instagram account. So if you like to follow tiny house builds, that's a good way to kind of keep up with what I'm doing.